Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Nëïgsëndöïg Cöcülës show. My name is Nëïgsëndöïg, the namesake for this here podcast. This was an idea that popped into my mind, which I never thought about before starting this podcast in 2025. Now, if you've seen or watched actually listened to the first episode, Autism Moment there, then you'll know that I am a musician, but not an entertainer. Entertainers are the ones who get paid the big bucks. I am no entertainer by any means. By any stretch of the imagination, I don't entertain. I just inform. I want to be entertaining, but at the same time, that has to come naturally. Regardless, I wanted to discuss some instruments that I have on hand. A 2012 Fender T-Bucket 300CE, and a 2022 Ibanez AEG 50N BKH. Now, you may be wondering, why today, of all episodes? Before I started this podcast, I used those two instruments and my voice to basically perform covers of bossa nova pieces, and one from my biological father, who it was said I disowned, but he rather disowned me. Long story short, I posted those covers onto my YouTube channel. This one in particular, where you are listening to this podcast if you're on YouTube side. You can take a look at my older videos or any of my music that I've posted over there. The same can be found on Wavelength, by the way, which will be linked below. You can watch the older videos and listen to my singing voice. Now, these are the older videos on the channel before I did this podcast. But before that, we need to cover my voice. My range is an E2 to an E4. The lowest I hit was surprisingly a C-sharp 2. However, my voice would have to be trained very well again for that, since I was classically trained. The highest I was able to do, despite some strain on my throat, was a middle G, G4. That means I would be what is called basso cantante, or melodic bass in Italian, or since I was able to do a G4, I could do something called Heidelbeertone. This is German for bass baritone. One of these I'm not sure about. The other, I'm still bass. I'm still in that bass range. This is just speaking on the contemporary side of things after all. Now, there is a specific video I will go ahead and link below, where I basically have these four styles. You have an authentic voice or an affected voice. Authentic means it is your natural voice when you sing, while affected means you're affecting your voice. Mine is more authentic. You have a calm versus, I think, an energetic voice or something. I happen to be calm. There's intellectual versus emotional. I am more intellectual, even though I do perform some bossa nova pieces that are apparently pretty sad. And then it is intuitive rather than... Oh, what's the other word for that? I'm not entirely sure about that. I forgot. Just check the video in the description if you're on YouTube side. Wavelength side, I'm sorry, I didn't go ahead and do that. Just use Nvidius if you want to listen to the podcast on YouTube anyway. Regardless, I do have covers and originals that I've also done. The originals I made using Ardor. Covers, it was just myself at this point. Or, I am not thinking straight, am I? I've got pretty bad tinnitus recently, and my thinking is affected. Regardless, I was actually designed for bossa nova, which is an older style of jazz not many people play anymore. And I love this genre, bossa nova. I would love to get a jam session done soon with some people who actually love this genre. And that's only when I move out of the Pacific states, Oregon, California, and Washington. I will say I live in one of those, and I need to get out of there fast. Thankfully, I am not in one of the big cities, or what Jack Spirko calls a flashpoint city. Now, this is very good for folk music as well. My mother absolutely hates folk music, but I was apparently designed for that. Bossa Nova, I think, would be much better, since it is jazz that was actually intellectual back then. I mean, the music nowadays is not even intellectual at all, and instead, it is more emotional, if anything. And with that intuitive style, I think if I recall correctly, the opposite of intuitive was technical. I think it was more technical. I don't do any technical singing at all. The most technical I go is probably a vibrato, but that's just a natural vibrato that I have. Regardless, I also happen to be a songwriter who is more intellectual and intuitive, though I may eventually get back into that. I need to do more songwriting, honestly, and would love to work with Sokyo on songwriting for VTubers who want to do it. Even though, yeah, Sokyo is just Sokyo, I guess. We're both unknown, Sokyo and I, in the grand scheme of things. Now I get it. It's not that great. But this is something that I need to work on in the future. Considering that I've written 2 rap pieces, one a Wavelake Hostage exclusive, the other one was actually on YouTube exclusively, but I've also since released it onto Wavelake as well. Now, there is that one instrument that I was classically trained on and off for a few years. I seem to be able to sing without a warm-up, depending on the time of day. Though, in terms of metal screaming, that can help with my voice, because what I do is a pig squeal. Basically, it's a false fold distortion with an overtone. That's what it is. If you want to hear some pig squealing, there are many videos of doing it. I'm not going to do it here. I don't even do pig squealing. Next, we're going to go ahead and do my Fender. This is a 2012 Fender T-Bucket. This is the CE model, the 300 CE, which is an acoustic electric guitar, with a laminated flame maple top with a mahogany back and sides. The rosewood fretboard is a thing, despite being a single-cut dreadnought guitar. I love dreadnought designs, by the way. Now, I am going to go ahead and use the metric system here for all these profiles and all these measurements I was able to see, except the string gauge. Now, the C profile neck that I have here on that guitar is 19.812 millimeters at fret 1 and 22.225 millimeters at fret 12. The fretboard has a radius of 25.4 centimeters, and the nut width is 42.3418 millimeters. The white dot inlays also have a Vince Ray F at the 12th fret. This is a hot rod design from Vince Ray. We have a Fishman Isis piezo pickup system under the saddle, with an EQ and a tuner on board. The tuners are made of chrome. And as I said, this is a Vince Ray hot rod design. The strings I have on it are D'Addario EJ13s, which are 11 to 52 gauge, 80-20 bronze strings. Now, for my international listeners, a gauge is basically some measurement of an inch, like fractions of an inch. So we have 0.011 inches, so it's roughly 11 thousandths of an inch. To 52 gauge, which is 52 thousandths of an inch. And it is specifically 80-20 bronze because they are quite bright. So I do tend to play some dark stuff, so I want some darker sounding strings. I do like that dark sound. Regardless, we're going to go to the third instrument, which will be my Ibanez. Again, it is an Ibanez AEG50N BKH. AEG50N is basically the guitar model. BKH is black high gloss. It has a black spruce top. The back and sides are of sepal. The Nieto neck is a thing, which is a flat radius neck. The fingerboard is out of walnut. I have white dot inlays on this thing, and the bridge is made of walnut. The tuning machines are apparently of gold, though I think the little things you use to grip the tuners those are apparently made of some form of mother of pearl type stuff. And yet I only paid $350 when I bought it back in 2021. So that was the time that I bought that. It's a high gloss polyurethane finish, though I think the neck is actually a satin neck. The strings I have on this one are D'Addario EJ27N silver plated wound clear nylon normal tension strings. The gauges are from, I think, string 1 to what has to be string 6. I have 28 gauge, 319 gauge, 42 gauge, actually 402 gauge, 29 gauge, 35 gauge, and 43 gauge. And if I'm not mistaken, we do have some other things, including actually their own pickup, which I think is also a piezo pickup as well. And I do have a battery in there as well. But that does it for me, actually. It's only 3 instruments that I have. Regardless, each episode releases every Wednesday afternoon, if there aren't any scheduling conflicts, at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Or just Pacific Time, it doesn't matter. You can listen to this podcast on Waveflake, on YouTube, or any Podcast 2.0 player like Podverse, Fountain, and AntennaPod. I would highly recommend Fountain if you are into Bitcoin. Regardless, if you're on YouTube side and want to listen on the go, you can get the RSS feed linked in the YouTube show notes, so that way you have the ability to listen on the go with your podcast player of choice, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts even, or many more. Regardless, I am out of time for today's episode. Thank you, and good night.